What evidence that God created the stars and everything the way we see it today 6,000 years ago do you have?
The heavens declare the glory of God.
So you have no evidence.
Of what?
What I just asked you.
About how far we can see?
What evidence do you have that the universe was created billions of light years across 6,000 years ago?
The Bible.
That's what you call evidence.
It's a historical document.
Do you consider this to be science, what you're doing?
Hello, humans. Welcome back to another banger video review. Today, we are going to hear how far you have to go in order to keep the facade that this book is truth. Before we get started, don't forget to click your buttons just to let me know you want more of this stuff. In the box, we have Brian Lauer versus the entertaining Planet Peterson. Let's get right to it.
Give me any evidence outside of the Bible that the universe is 6,000 years old.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you look at the amount of salt in the sea. There's not billions of years of salt in the sea. You look at the erosion rate.
Give me evidence that it's 6,000 years old, not that it's not some other number.
Okay, that is 6,000. That was Dr. Russell Humphreys. He he accurately predicted the magnetic field of Uranus and Neptune in 1984, and we've got magnetic. Actually, the half-life of the Earth's magnetic field is 1,400 years.
Whoa. I am going to call a timeout real quick. We are about to have a gentleman here that most likely is never going to go into great details about his thoughts.
And so if we're billions of years old, why do we still have a magnetic field? Because like 10 or 20,000 years of it being stronger and stronger and stronger is going to destroy the planet.
I need you to give me a process that gets you precisely to 6,000 years.
Well, yeah, that's what he did. The magnetic field of Uranus and Neptune, he was accurate. Before NASA got out there, he accurately predicted that the magnetic field based on a 6,000-year model, and because they thought it won't have one, and it does. And even America, yeah. And so the
people thought that Uranus and Neptune wouldn't have magnetic fields?
The Big Bangers back then. They're supposed to be billions of years old.
A part of me gets the struggle. His brain has to twist in such an insane way in order to make sense of the ridiculousness of saying the Earth is 6,000 years old. You know, the guy that said the thing, yeah. Then the other guy saw the thing, yeah. The Big Bangers. I mean, seriously, what the hell are we talking about here? If you know, comment below.
Who thought that those specific planets, which are compositionally not different? I didn't ask you if somebody else is wrong. I'm asking you for how do you get me to 6,000 years?
Their prediction. He accurately predicted the magnetic field of Uranus and Neptune and he used a 6,000-year model. The Big Bangers had it way different.
How does it work? Is there any science behind how magnetic fields form and decay over time according to creationism?
Well, it decays.
How? How does any of this work?
Well, it decays, yeah, and it decays, and we can't be 20,000 years old because it would be so strong back then based on the half-life that we have now.
It can't be part of an oscillating trend?
Well, you can imagine it if you want, but we don't have evidence of that.
So this always amazes the hell out of me. How can people that believe fantasies ever bring up not having evidence?
Don't have evidence that precludes a longer date in that case.
Well, not without making a rescuing device called a dynamo. You can imagine.
Dictionary time. A dynamo is an electrical generator that converts mechanical energy into direct current, DC electricity, using electromagnetic induction.
But there's no evidence for that. And a dynamo doesn't work with Uranus anyway because the magnetic core isn't on its axis. And so it's not going to work. Plus, it doesn't have measurable heat. And so it can't happen. And then Mercury's got a magnetic field too. And that's too small to have a dynamo. And so there's a lot of problems with that billions of years thing, but we never get to read about it. So astronomy points to a 6,000 years. And then Russell Humphreys
Anyways,
Russell Humphreys.
I'm gonna
Russell Humphreys.
reclaim my time here. So
No, you asked me for evidences, and that's geology.
I'm cross-examining you, so I'm reclaiming my time.
Well, no,
That's how
you
it works.
asked me for evidences, and I gave you one. I can give you 3.
You've been rambling, and you haven't given me an example that gets to 6,000 years.
Well,
so, Brian, what is the range?
The mutation rate. The mutation rate goes back to 6,000 years. It doesn't go back millions or thousands of years. The mutation rate.
No, it doesn't. John Sanford, who's a hack.
Since I have no clue what the mutation rate is, I decided to pause this video and go look it up. Be right back. Okay, I'm back. The mutation rate is basically the speed at which genetic changes happen. Think of DNA copying itself. And sometimes little mistakes slip through. Scientists measure this rate to track how species change and evolve over time.
He forces those models. I've read his scientific paper about this that proposes that African Americans have defective DNA repair structures, by the way. Because that's the kind of crap you have to say to force a conclusion into a model rather than doing real science. Brian, I need to ask you my next question here. What is the range of acceptable answers for how far should we be able to see, given that the universe is 6,000 years old?
Well, as far as the telescopes can go.
What's the range of acceptable answers?
As far as they can, whatever technology they can look as far as the technology lets them look.
I'm not asking you about technology. I'm asking you what's the range. I'm not asking you the limits of technology. What is the acceptable range for how far we should be able to see if the universe was created 6,000 years ago?
As far as technology allows us, we can see as far as.
I'm not asking you about technology. So you're just saying the answer is whatever the answer is.
No, we can see as far as the technology allows us to see. That's what I'm saying.
So I thought I got the question, or at least I got what the question is supposed to get the creationists to admit. Is the dude not answering because he doesn't want to say we should only be seeing about 6,000 years out?
There's no range for how far we can see. We can see as far as the range, as far as technology
allows. You're completely misunderstanding my question. So if I said a car's been driving at 100 miles an hour for 1 hour, the acceptable range of answers is really small.
Well, that's different. Driving and seeing is different.
No, not fundamentally when it comes to this observation. No, not really. So if the universe is only 6,000 years old, what I'm trying to get to is, why do we see for billions of light years? How is that in any way congruous with 6,000 year creation?
God made the stars on 6 days, and then he stretched out the heavens.
What evidence of that do you have?
That's why we got the accelerating. Our universe is expanding at an accelerating rate, and you have to figure out things. Imagine dark energy doing that. I know.
What evidence that God created the stars and everything the way we see it today, 6,000 years ago, do you have?
I have never heard of this Brian guy. Let me know if any of you have heard of him before.
The heavens declare the glory of God.
So you have no evidence.
Of what?
What I just asked you.
About how far we can see?
What evidence do you have that the universe was created billions of light years across 6,000 years ago?
The Bible.
That's what you call evidence.
It's a historical document.
Do you consider this to be science, what you're doing?
Yeah.
In what way is this science?
We look at all the evidence, put it all on the table, and we don't exclude one view. You know, it's like you got the creation model and the Big Bang, and the blind chance model, and the blind chancers have eliminated.
So you accept the Hindu perspective of creation?
I don't know what that is.
Do you accept it?
I don't know. Do they have a book that's historically, archaeologically, and prophetically, and scientifically accurate?
This guy is not serious, is he?
Have that?
Yeah.
Scientific, for crying out loud. So how is it that we can see billions of light years, given that the universe is only 6,000 years old and light would not have been able to travel billions of years in that amount of time?
Well, you got the same light problem. It's called the horizon problem. How you
answer the question?
Okay. What? How is that? God stretched out the heavens.
What evidence of that do you have?
Stretched them out.
What evidence of that do you have?
It says that several times in the Bible. He stretched it out. He stretched it out.
That's not evidence. What evidence of that do you have? How can you explain this scientifically?
I believe he created everything with The word of his mouth.
That's a scientific explanation to you?
Well, there's science that backs it up.
Such as?
Semantics.
What?
Semantics.
What is semantics?
It's the science of visible sound.
What does that have to do with the universe being billions of light years across?
Well, if he can make stuff with his voice, he can do that.
I'm asking for evidence of what? What does this thing about sound waves have to do with the universe being billions of light years across?
It has to do with him creating it. The Bible says that by the word of his testimony, by his word, he made stuff. And by his word, the faith or understanding, the worlds that were framed by the word of God. And so by his word, that's what he did. And
I have to speed that part up. This is what happens, people. This is scary if this guy really believes this. I remind you, this man votes.
a science called semantics that is kind of validating that.
In what way does it validate that the universe is only 6,000 years old?
Well, it is, well, okay, well, not the age, but that sounds can produce things.
So you think that, jeez, where on earth do we go from here? Did God use the laws of physics to create the universe?
Well, he didn't use the first law because that's matter from nothing. He made matter from nothing. He didn't do the second law because he organized it real well. And also the law of biogenesis. Well, I guess a life giver did give life. And the rest of it he probably did with semantics.
Not much to say besides, I feel sorry for this gentleman.
I was really just looking for a yes or no. Did God use the laws of physics to create the universe?
I wasn't there.
So you have no idea?
Well, I think semantics can, I think there's evidence that words can create things. I think there's evidence for that.
Could you give one example other than the thing we're discussing here, which is the creation of the universe?
Can I share my screen?
I don't care.
Is that possible there, Donnie?
Yeah, sure.
What do I have to do?
Just click the present entire screen.
Okay.
And we can
entire
put that up
screen,
for you.
share screen, the entire screen.
And just for time, you're just a little less than 11 minutes.
Don't count this. Give him extra time.
I got it paused. No worries.
Yeah.
John Stuart Reid of Keswick, England, is the co-inventor of a new
Yo, I have seen this video. Pretty sure I used this as entertainment one night when I was bored and couldn't sleep. Also, I am not sure if I have ever seen a debate where one of the speakers breaks out a class video.
instrument called the cymoscope. It converts sound into three-dimensional geometric images in water. Sound affects matter in surprising ways, a mystery that has recently deepened.
Cymatics is the science of visible sound. Here we have the beautiful song of a humpback whale. Some of the geometry that we're seeing is just exquisitely beautiful.
Okay, like I've seen this
trilobite.
before.
It made a trilobite.
Well, it roughly looks like a trilobite.
Yeah.
It didn't make a trilobite. It made. I mean, that's not a starfish. That's something with 5 vertices.
Okay. Yeah, and then it makes these images the sound.
Okay.
So I mean,
So did God create the universe by using physical sound waves?
I don't know. He just said, and God said. Well, actually, we can take a look at what he said.
So
okay. Well, basically, it's over and over again. And God said, and God said, and God said, let the waters bring forth. Let the earth bring forth. Let the light be in the firmaments. And God said, and God said. It's over and over again. And then we've got evidence that these things, that these vibrations in water look like trilobites and other things that are millions of years old. And I think that that's worthy of consideration.
The clouds look like things. And if I invent a religion that says everything was created by clouds, then all of a sudden I have evidence? No. I'm really trying to get... I can't tell if you're agnostic about this or if you're trying to avoid answering the question. Does God use the laws of physics to perform his miracles?
Hey, I'm not God. I'm.
So you have no idea.
I have no idea.
So should we discard the
idea.
God hypothesis because it violates the laws of physics?
What's that?
Should we discard the God hypothesis from science because it violates the laws of physics?
Well, no, it just defeats the definition of science, not the laws of science. You define God out of the science book. Here's a science book that says it's limited to physical explanations. Here's another one that says our goal is to provide natural explanations. Another one says that and it goes on to say that there's significant uncertainty about how life began. However, any questions that remain are about how evolution works, not whether it occurred. So they won't even allow a designer in the classroom
because it's not scientific.
If you can put your logical goggles on, this guy believes something so strongly that he doesn't even care if he has proof. It's backwards thinking. I'm curious to see what his content is like. Because from what I am hearing, he speaks very broad. If you want to see the rest of the video, click the link in the description below. Don't forget to always question your beliefs.